how many shows can I ride in one day, and can I rank all of them here for Halloweekends? Well, today, I hope you're ready and excited because we're going to find out together. Let's go. Pretty easy to see that today this is much busier than Thursday. These Saturdays are always pretty packed. They do surprisingly get even more busy than this. The end of the year gets incredibly crazy busy. So it is worthwhile to look at coming on a Thursday or a Sunday night if it's at all possible. But Saturdays do the job, especially if you're only here to see shows like I am today. This is now all of Prestige Pass. You park on this side right over here, all the way up to where Cedar Point Beach is. And of course it offers some great views of the rides itself, but it does kind of lessen the impact of Prestige Pass. Except that instead of waiting in, oh my word, look at that line. That line is ridiculous. No, I'm not waiting in that. I'm going down to the beach. Yes, it is a Saturday. You can see the line. This isn't even that terrible of a line for a gatekeeper, but definitely that line's going strong. So it is a Saturday. I didn't notice these the other day. All right, and here I am at the Grand Pavilion grabbing some food today. Let's go. It's weird to think that it's been several months since this thing opened, and even more than that since I first stepped foot in it or saw parts of it during the tour for Winter Chill Out this year. Doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it most certainly has. They no longer have the fish, which makes me really, really sad, or at least they're not serving it right now anyway. I love the fish. I would much rather have that than have the steak, but their steak is very good here. And she did give me the option of something a little bit more rare than some of the options, so I do like that a lot. And then they also have the rice, of course. I love that. So I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I've tried a full piece of steak right now. I don't like it. I don't know if there's something off on the marinade or what. But I think I'm just going to stick with rice today. This meal now, though, has cost me $3.27 per meal that I've had at a Cedar Fair park this year. So, I mean, it just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? Still have a month and a half. Alright, it is 1:09. I have until 1:15 to make it to kind of the other side of the park right now, to the celebration stage where we are going to watch The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. This is the first show on our list of shows today. We have all kinds of shows that we are going to be watching, and we are going to be ranking them by the tech scale. So the first tech of tech is an actual acronym. It stands for talent, energy, character, and humor. The second tech just stands for tech. Technology. How much technology is used and what's it like? I love to perform, and I absolutely love our performers here at Cedar Point, but let's be entirely fair. Without the people in the background, there is no performance at all. I definitely want to give those involved in technology the credit that they're due, especially when we consider these different shows. Wow, look at how many people are actually here. This place is just packed. And like I said, I don't think this is as packed as it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot more than this. I do love this guy though. So cool. We've got 1 minute until Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown starts. There are already people waiting for it. Let's go see it. Oh, I hear it right now. Perfect timing.
Is everyone ready for the Big Peanuts Halloween party? So are we! And before we get this party started, we thought it was a graveyard snack.
I'm in the mood for a nice, crisp, Angry Orchard right now, so that sounds really good. That'll be the next thing that I'll be getting here at the Inferno Bar.
From the spooky stage to the candy train, from the spooky holidays, it's the latest today's craze.
We love a hard cider.
I
mean, it's just a hard cider, but especially on a nice hot day like this, perfect. So as soon as they're done with this, then they go into a costume contest right away. Obviously, my costume is gonna win over all of them.
Anybody can come up, come on, friends, we got 4 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and last one right here. It looks like Snoopy needs some time to deliberate. In the meantime, would you guys like to dance with us?
All right, so that show was very, very fun. Definitely enjoyed it. However, I enjoyed it less than I enjoyed it last year. Last year it was a lot more fun. There was a lot more to it. There were a lot more people on stage, and I definitely enjoyed that. But let's get to this ranking. 4 Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. It had predictably great talent in it. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it was the best talent that I've ever seen here at Cedar Point. They all were great. It's a little bit half-assed to some degree as far as like a lot of the performing and the dancing feels a little bit more marked. That's really what I mean. It's not so much half-assed as just like it's a kid's performance. Like that's what usually you get. It's something with a little bit lighter choreography, something with a little bit lighter and less intricate singing. Still, of course, all of these people are very, very talented. I did definitely think JT, set himself apart above the rest, but that's kind of the way it works when you are the MC of the thing. So JT definitely seemed to be, really, really strong on his side of things. Of course, MSP, I absolutely love her. She's fantastic. And she's been fantastic in everything that she's been in. But yeah, I mean, there's just a little bit less to judge in this because it's a daytime kids performance, and that's exactly what it knows it is. So, and that's okay. It's just not necessarily my favorite thing as a 36-year-old man. Of course, that still doesn't stop it from getting first place. It does get first place because there's nothing competing with it yet. It will be knocked down out of first place, I'm sure, by the end of this, unless we are very surprised at the end and this thing still gets number 1. But I really doubt that's going to happen. I know Wake the Dead's coming. I know the Shrieks are coming. There's a lot of cool stuff coming soon. As far as energy goes, I already said the same thing. It feels a little bit half-assed. That's not to knock the performance, and that's not to say that the energy isn't exciting. There were some times when I saw JT, his dancing was incredible. He was jumping all over, and there was just lots of crazy stuff happening. But even the characters, their mouths don't move. If you don't match the energy of the characters themselves, who are already at a disadvantage of being able to perform, then you're not going to look good. You're going to be way over, a cut over what those characters are. And the characters really are the main characters. They're the thing that you come for. Like, you're not here to see them dance. you're here to see Snoopy. You're here to see all these other characters performing. So that's part of why there's a little bit less energy in this performance. And again, that's also part of why that's not necessarily a terrible thing. But of course, that still means that it gets first place for right now, because there's nothing else competing against it. I did definitely notice that this year the costumes for Monsters Are Coming Charlie Brown were substantially different and were more covering than what they had last year, which surprised me just a little bit. However, it is a family show, so I definitely understand that. The girls had like full leggings on all the way down in like mini skirts, but with the leggings underneath. They covered all the way up to their necks, and then the guy, well, I guess, yeah, they only had one guy. Last year they had like cut off sleeves. This year it was he's in like a full like Letterman's jacket, and then a shirt underneath that. So that is something that I think definitely is different and markedly different from last year as far as Halloweekends goes. There also were way fewer people on the stage than there were last year during this show. Now, do I like the costumes as much as last year or worse? I think these ones are way worse than last year. But it's what they have, and they were colorful, they're fun, they're nice, but they still get first place one way or another. Monsters Are Coming Charlie Brown is the cheeseballiest of the cheesebally shows. So as far as the humor goes, it is not anything that I think you need to write home about. I don't think it's particularly funny, but it does work for kids in particular. It actually kind of builds some suspense also, so I think that's something that adds to this. It's kind of nice, especially with kids. It's nothing that's really that scary, but you know, as a kid you're kind of like, wait a minute, what's gonna happen? There's gonna be a monster, there are monsters coming, and they actually kind of build that up just a little bit. It is in a really cheesy way, and I will say one joke that I really like about it is the radio host is talking about what's happening, kind of a la the radio show with Orson Welles that fooled the nation entirely with like an alien attack. It's very similar to that, but it's much, much cheesier. So they say, there are monsters right at your front door. And then all the characters say, at our front door? Yes, that's what I said.
That's what I said!
And it is cheesy, but it is a little bit clever as far as that goes. Also, the radio host responding to the people listening is something that I think is kind of a funny joke. So it's very, very simple, very small, but it's made for kids, and it definitely succeeds with being for kids as it's intended. So I like that. Definitely not going to be my favorite as far as humor goes, but it is something that I think is kind of fun. Now, I cannot imagine that it is even in any way possible that this show is going to get anything for technology, anything but last place for technology. It is incredibly low technology. You don't have much at all on this, so do not expect anything fantastic from it. It's a daytime show. They don't have any lighting, they don't have anything in particular crazy. They don't even really have a lot of props. Of course, though, there is sound, and that is very important, and the sound mixing is really great. You never have trouble listening. You know, I could learn a thing or two. Actually, I have a new mic now, so hopefully it sounds really good, but my sound mixing has not always been that great either. So that puts it at first place also for right now. Of course, nothing else is against it, as I keep saying. With that, I would say the best part about this show is simply that it does what it's meant to do. Like I keep saying, it's there for kids, and it does what it needs to do to make kids really enjoy this time. There is also a kids costume show that ends up right at the end there also, which is definitely fun. So as soon as you're done, you go right into that. And if you have kids under the age of like 12-ish, 12 would probably be the cutoff line, then go enjoy it. They'll probably think it's pretty fun, and they may be able to show off their costume and possibly win a prize or two from Snoopy himself. So that's always fun. I will say, though, for me, I enjoy it just simply because it's Snoopy. I mean, Snoopy's kind of our mascot for Cedar Point, so being able to see Snoopy is always a treat. So I like that anyway, but I'm not going to say that this show is geared toward me. We'll find a lot more of those later on in the night. Definitely, I enjoyed it, though. Let me know what you guys think down below of this show, and let's keep moving on. When you see a line this long for Iron Dragon, you know that the lines around the park are massive today. if this is what you find. Now we are on our way over to the Witch Sisters right now. They do have 3 different types of shows that they have each day. We're going to see what they actually do. And I'm so excited to see the Fangs After Dusk in just a little bit here tonight. I have several hours to kill until that moment though, so but yeah, cannot wait to see them. But anyway, we're going out to see the Witch Sisters. We're going to check out all 3 of the different shows, just kind of what they do for each one of them, and we'll judge it all as one cohesive show though. Now, even though it says Nightmares Ahead, during the day there's nothing going on. Like, take the music as a cue for what the mood is actually going to be like. When you walk back here at night, the entire mood shifts to a very creepy overall feeling. During the day, it's completely fine to bring kids, have anyone back here, whether they want to be scared or not, because there are no scares going on during the daytime. Past about 7 o'clock, that's going to definitely change. Oh, the Witch Sisters have changed where they were. They used to be inside the fort. They are inside the little town now, which I actually like way better. This is a way better area where they get more exposure and people will stop to see them. Back there it was so cramped and difficult. It was kind of fun, kind of an intimate type of a space, but this is way better. Which is Hollow.
So think of something terrifying, something absolutely disgusting.
Oh, yes, like holding hands, Sadie, or let's say giving a hug.
Or the relentless fear of dying alone in a cold room.
Are you okay?
Something.
All right, Sadie, something that makes you.
They even have the tech guy or girl in costume. I love it. I've been here for literally 2 minutes. They've already had 4 or 5 jokes that I thought were hilarious. They're a little bit dark, and I like that about them.
I have a real sweet tooth. Oh, is that what you put on your Tinder profile? I have a literal sweet tooth. I carry it around in my pocket. It was my ex-boyfriend. This one, Pete Davidson.
Sisters! Oh, no, so we don't have a citrine crystal at all. You swallowed your. Wait, I'm not giving mine. Okay, all right. Then you know what, Aria? I will let you use my citrine crystal, but I must retrieve it. Get away from me. From my bosom.
It's a place of eternal darkness where men are swallowed whole and lost
Can you
forever.
sing it for me now?
I love these people.
I command thee, candy goblins, to unleash and unload.
I command thee, candy goblins, to unleash and unload.
It's okay. I find this is so funny to me. She is very, very hilarious. And I love how she says things like, okay, kids, you're crowding me. Get away. She'll tell them to do something, and then she's like, all right, we're done now. Get done. It's my favorite thing. Somehow, she in particular, kind of the main witch, she balances it very nicely, where the kids never feel disrespected, but they do find a lot of humor for adults and a lot of just get away from me, kids, you bother me, stuff like that, and it works really nicely. There is a lot of music. I'm gonna say, once again, kind of half-assed. It's not anything that's made to be incredibly great choreography. It's basically made to be kids choreography, stuff that they can do, and that's really what the last one is also. It's the exact same thing. It's made to be stuff that kids can do, stuff that's easy for them. But all 3 of the Witch Sisters are hilarious to me. They work on a rotation. They go from show to show to show. They have an incantation, and they do a story time. They do a whole bunch of different things. They make a spell with the kids. It's very fun. It's very light humor. But it is something that your kids could really enjoy. It'd be pretty easy to take a moment, go ride a couple of rides that maybe the adults want to ride, and then come back here and do a show for 15-20 minutes, and then go back and ride another couple of rides, so that your kids don't get bored. This is a great opportunity for them to be able to enjoy the time. But yeah, all three of them are hilarious. I love all three of these actresses very, very, very much, and they're very fun. Oh, even now they just said, "Okay, sisters, you know what it's time for?" They said, "Your personality transplant." I love them. They might win number one for humor. I don't know. Let's go through it. Honestly, I didn't think about this one being difficult to judge as far as talent goes. All of these people are insanely talented. It's hard to choose and say like, well, these people are more talented than these people or things like that. But I am gonna say I think. You know what? As a teacher, I'm going to give it to the Witch Sisters. I've been back and forth a little bit, but I'm going to give it to the Witch Sisters. They are great at captivating an audience, and especially these kids. And they're very funny. They're funny, and not only just funny for kids, but funny for adults also. So when you can captivate both audiences together, you're pretty good at what you do. And it is something that I have a lot of respect for. Now, the Charlie Brown performance I really enjoy, and I'm not saying anything against that, just I think this one takes some balance that I think is really, really hard to accomplish, and they do it flawlessly. So I think it's worthwhile to say that, yeah, for talent, we've got number one right here, at least so far. For energy, I give the Witch Sisters second place. They obviously have a lot of energy to be able to do this, but it also does take a little bit less energy for them than it does to get up on a stage and dance and be in a costume even in dancing, and just really sweating on a very hot day. Tons of energy for that, not to mention some pretty cool dance moves that happened also in the Charlie Brown show. So here I'm going to say a little bit less energy, but that's also part of the charm of it, is that they have a little bit less energy. A lot of the charm is that they have a dry wit and humor about them that makes it a little bit more funny. So that is part of the reason why I enjoy them. So even though I'm saying some lower energy maybe here, that's also maybe a feature and not a bug. The Witch Sisters costumes have to be incredibly hot, especially on a day like today. When it gets a little bit cooler, it's probably kind of a nice thing, but for today, it's got to be incredibly hot. It is nice that they're in kind of a shaded area, so that's great, but I gotta hand it to their dresses. Like, these dresses are intricate, they're beautiful, they're fascinating, and I do love it that they kind of have a bit of a hocus pocus vibe to them just all the way around. They know what they're doing. I love that. Witch Sisters might win number one over everything for humor. I'm not sure about that. But they are legit funny. I mean, at least for my humor anyway. Obviously, humor is subjective. Not everyone is going to find the same things funny, but I find them hilarious. So it's worthwhile to go check them out, even as an adult. Don't like sit right next to a kid, but stand off back, especially now you can do that too. Lots of access to it. It's a much easier thing to go check out. Definitely worthwhile to check out what the Witch Sisters are doing and the kinds of jokes that they're giving. Story time is a little bit less. I would expect less humor for that. But if you're coming in for either the incantation or you're coming for the what they're doing next, which is games, there's going to be a lot more humor in both of those. Incantation's the best one, I think. Witch Sisters get second place for technology. Out of the two that we've watched so far. As far as technology goes, there really isn't much. The one thing that kind of made it a bit of a toss-up for me, even though I decided to still say that Charlie Brown gets the number one slot here, is that the Witch Sisters have more special effects. So they often will throw something in a cauldron, and when they throw that thing into the cauldron, it goes, and then there's an effect there. But really, that's a pretty easy effect. It could easily just be something that they have in their hands, even just to press a button, or even just something that they stomp on to make it do that. It'd be so easy to hook that up and rig it up one way or another for that. So it's not that much technology. And as far as technology goes, yes, Charlie Brown didn't have much, but they do have singers and dancers all the way through it. And you have multiple people singing at different points, along with some voices that also have to be synced up. In this case, you just got 3 people talking. It's very easy. You just got to turn them on and have them ready to go. And then, of course, move your levels as you need to so that it sounds good throughout and consistently throughout it. But other than that, there's not a ton to do. So as far as technology goes, I would give this one to Charlie Brown. And at that, the Witch Sisters get 7 points overall, and Monsters Are Coming has 8 points. So Witch Sisters wins this round so far. I'm very excited to see what the rest of this day holds. But let me know what you guys think of this show, especially if you've brought your kids to it. Let me know if you actually enjoy the humor or not. Like I said, it's subjective. I don't know. Am I just off on my humometer? Humometer. Okay, let's go. Like I said, humor's subjective. Don't cancel me. Oh, they did bring back the Bean Challenge this year also. Trickster games, dread time stories, and spellcasting ceremonies. But it doesn't look like it's on quite the same schedule as usual. There's a little bit less of some of them and a little bit more of some. So keep that in mind for if you're wanting to come see this or if your kids might really enjoy it. I will say the Bean Challenge is really, really fun. It's actually jelly beans, and they have jelly beans that taste, you can buy them at your local mall or whatever, but they have jelly beans that actually taste like dirty socks, boogers, things like that. But boogers look the same as green apple, so you could possibly get boogers in your mouth or the sweet taste of a green apple. So that's part of the fun of it, is never knowing what you're getting. And the kids just literally go up and just taste one at a time and see if it's good or not. And then they can spit it out. And then they can get a good one if they get a bad one. So that's part of the fun of it, though, is that they have that. And that's all it is. It's very simple. But kids love it. They go crazy. We are headed over to the Boardwalk for the Grand Pavilion. But while we're on our way, you can see the toys and the games that kids can play here in the kids area. Now, in the pavilion, they have some really cool stuff. One of the things that they have in the pavilion is a flight of drinks that you can get. You can also get kooky crafts over here. These crafts are so much fun, and they are free. Children must be 12 or under to participate. But it's a fantastic family activity to do. Very, very fun. Alright, they have a whole bunch of new stuff now. Red Rum Runner, Cranberry Ginger Mule. Basically, this is like a play, like a fall play on what they had before. Cable Car, Salt Air Margarita, Blackberry Rosemary. And then they also have the Red Rum Runner. These are more like their Halloween stuff. Toxic Waste, Apple Cider Mimosa, and Apple Pie Mocktail. So I think I'm going to choose the Red Rum Runner, a murderous concoction based on the classical rum tropical punch, garnished with a bloody chamois pineapple wedge. Sounds pretty good. I think it sounds interesting, so let's try it. All right, so let's try this thing, see what it's like. This is the Red Rum Runner, except I think they may be out of the pineapple wedge, so instead they added this onto it instead. Alright, let's try this now, see what it's like. It's very, very sweet. You can taste the alcohol, just a little bitterness there at the end. I really like it. It's a very pretty drink too. Ooh. It gets better as it goes on too. Alright, I am on my way now to the opening Scary Moanies. I'm actually very excited for this. It's the beginning of all the shows, and these are the things that I love the most. Whether it's main season or Halloweekends, but during Halloweekends they always have some banger shows, so I'm very excited. Let's go. I can already see people waiting. Granted, we are only like 5 minutes out from the opening Scary Moanies tonight, but there are a ton of people around here. Way more than I expected there to be. But I love it. I'll take it. And I'm very excited to watch it. So let's go. Okay, and Cedar Point, if you're listening, this is the reason why the stage needs to be pointed that way with an opening walkthrough, because to be honest, this is probably even a bit of a hazard, to be completely fair. Won't take anything away from the performance for me, though. I'm excited to watch it and to rank it. One more thing.
You've seen her on cable access channel KL1870. You stared at a poster on your wall. Eve!
You'll be thankful you did. Even it is a pain in the neck to get a drink around there. We have an expression of terror, pain, or excitement. No, I'm not talking about the voice of your mother-in-law. I'm talking about Shriek. Or in this case, our next feature, a Shriek.
The David smiles on your faces. You are melting with cheers. The feelings of I can hold them no longer. The time has come. By the turning of the page, your inner fears become our stage. Your minds will fill with images of fright.
Okay, so it says there's something starting at 7:15 right here, and then at 7:30 another thing, but both of them say that they're going to 8 o'clock. So I don't know if it's like a dueling, like Eve is going to be here, and then they have the little stage that's the metal thing. You can't see it right now, but metal. There's like a big metal crate. I don't know if that's what they're doing or what, but I'm going to hang out here. It is 7:17 right now, so it should be starting, but we still need to rank this, so let's talk just a little bit here. Scary Moanies were very fun. I wouldn't... Now, okay, as far as talent goes, it's hard to judge talent a little bit because talent is just... It's kind of different everywhere that you look, and different things are needed at each place. What they needed, they did here. But I'm still giving it second place. I do think that maybe it's a bit more taxing and exciting of a show with the Witch Sisters. So I'm giving them number one so far still. Scary Moanies is a pretty low energy show, but there's a lot happening, a lot of different characters on the stage, and we had people dancing also. It was very, very fun to watch all of that. I'm very excited to see all the dancers tonight. Definitely excited to just watch all of that. So, very, very great show. And I'm giving it number one for this. As beautiful as the Witch Sisters' dresses were, I have to give the costumes 100% hands down to this show, at least so far. These were incredible, intricate costumes. Mr. Midnight's costume alone just wins on that. The creativity of Mr. Midnight's costume, the smoke that comes out of his fingers, all that kind of stuff, it's incredible. I love it, but those were not the only costumes. There were far more on that stage, and I loved all of them. They're very, very cool. The only thing I'd maybe give a negative to a little bit is the dancers' costumes, because they were a little bit more like by the box kinds of costumes, and I'm really against that. But other than that, they did a good job of balancing that with the intricacy of all the other costumes. As far as humor goes, I still have to hand it to the Witch Sisters. They were hilarious today, and I'm real into them. So now this I have really enjoyed, and there were some funny parts. It was quite a bit darker. And they did start it out with Eve, who is a bit more of a lighthearted character, even though she's also very, very dark. She's just not the same level of dark that Mr. Midnight is. Even though like she likes to kill people and stuff, but she has a lot of laughter and a lot of more like sickeningly sweet kinds of stuff. It's a good balance with the pure terror that Mr. Midnight is instead, where he's just literally like your deepest nightmares, your deepest dreams, the things that lurk in the night. That's much scarier on a conceptual level than Eve is. On a technological level, this has to win hands down by several different counts. One of them, like I've already mentioned, is the fingertips of Mr. Midnight and the costume of Mr. Midnight in and of itself. But beyond that, also, it is just a much more technologically strong show simply because of sound mixing. Although I have to say sound mixing was a little bit worse, to be completely fair, but also because of the screens that are used in that show. They did also do a good job of correcting the sound mixing after it kind of started. It wasn't awesome at the very beginning and then got much better. So definitely great. Anyway, though, I definitely think this one's going to be a very high contender on our list of shows for today. Let's round it all up. Overall, Scary Moanies gets first place with 7 points. Witch Sisters gets 10 points, which gives it second place, and 13 points rounds it out with The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. So definitely fun so far to see all these different shows. Eve still has not started, so they're supposed to have DJ Eve. I have a feeling I'm going to have to come back to see DJ Eve. I think they have to set it all up, and I think it's going to cause problems each time. DJ Eve is a very, very, very simple show. I wouldn't really even call it a show. But we are going to talk about it just a little bit since it is on the schedule. Just need to move that hat backwards. By the way, go buy merch if you want to. Not your normal guy. Go check it out. It's on the shelf right on YouTube. So go just press that and go check it out. Hey, look who finally got his camera out. I love it. All right, so DJ Eve I put as last place for the very first one, and honestly, it's gonna be last for all of them. This is just not a fantastic show. I like her in the main show, and I even like her here too. I don't have any problem with her at all. It's just there's not much to her as far as that goes. Yeah, DJ Eve, Yoko actually just said she's just basically a mixture of the witches that were above last year, but she's not really making fun of people. She's just talking about stuff. You could go talk to her though, and it could be more fun for you. And she's doing a great job with what material she has, which is nothing. She just needs to improvise stuff. And she's doing a great job with that, but as far as energy goes, also at the bottom, just because there's not much to it. It's just whatever she kind of wants to do and talk about and laugh and stuff like that. It adds energy to the area, but I don't think that it's a particularly high energy, exciting show, something that you can't miss. I am giving DJ Eve third place though for costuming because her costume is pretty fantastic, but I don't think it's quite as good as the Witch Sisters. I'm still giving DJ Eve last place for humor also. I do love her laugh, and I do love her. I don't hate her at all, but I don't feel like it's the best situation for her. That's something that's really incredible, and it's just not really funny. Like I said, it adds a little bit of life to the area, and that is her doing the job that she's supposed to do. So she's doing exactly what she's told to do. I just do not necessarily look at that and go, oh wow, hilarious, it's really, really fun, nothing like that. It's just a little bit of ambient noise to fill in this space while the next show comes up that we're going to watch. DJ Eve I give also fourth place to for technology. Again, not much to it. I mean, there's some lighting. That's pretty much all she has, and then a microphone. Very, very, very simple. Not a ton of technology. It's a simple show. It's fine. Like I said, she does what she needs to do. It's not something I think you need to go out of your way to experience. So that now keeps everything the same, except Monsters Are Coming now has 14 points, and DJ Eve is at 21, sitting at the very last spot with 21.
Tell me where I am. I don't know how I got here, but I think I'm starting to understand. I don't belong among you.
Very cabaret, huh?
Baby, that's just fine with me. What I did up there was high school. Rapunzel, let down your hair. As brunette and as pale as your skin so fair.
A very busy night tonight. They just ended the first show. It dispersed, and immediately there are people waiting here now for the Shrieks. I can't wait to see the Shrieks. I don't blame them, and as a matter of fact, I'm very, very glad for it. Also, whoever decided to put Midnight Syndicate on the main stage was an absolute genius, and that whole show was fascinating and very, very, very fun. Midnight Syndicate gets absolutely first place for this. Let's talk about talent. I kind of suspected that the music in this clip was going to get me copyrighted, and yes, it did get me copyrighted. This talent is absolutely fantastic. All of these people are incredible. There are aerial acts, there are balancing acts, there's someone who gets pulled up by her hair, there's a knife act. It's incredible. It's so much fun. And as far as talent goes, I don't know that you can get much of a stronger array of talent out of a show. Now, putting Midnight Syndicate out here did remove a little bit of the energy from it, of like scares. But it also added a ton of energy as far as just excitement goes. This is way more fun. It is less scary. It is less spooky. but it's a fantastic show. And I do have it also at number 1 for energy at this point. Midnight Syndicate, I put it number 1 also for costumes. These costumes are fantastic. They really dialed up on the sex appeal for this one too. There's a lot more on that, so maybe someone listened to my video over this winter. I doubt it, but maybe it's possible. Anyway, it's a fantastic show. As far as the costumes go, they're very, very good. Also, kind of a cabaret vibe. You have a lot of, fishnet, stockings, stuff like that. You have, of course, the guy coming in who has half a shirt on through it and suspenders on. It's very welcome in. Bienvenue, welcome. The music has thrown me off really bad. That's the whole reason. It's a fantastic show though, and these costumes were incredible. Each one's a little bit different. It's a very, very nice look for this show, and then they all have like trench coats on over that too. Great one. I love it. I am giving Midnight Syndicate second place for humor. I still think The Witch Sisters is funnier. This is not much of a funny show. It's an incredible display of talent and of incredible feats with your body, but it's not really a funny show. It's just a great show in so many ways. It does have a few little funny parts, and that's why I'm adding it up just a little bit, because there are a couple of more funny characters in it. I don't know that they're totally supposed to be funny, but we do buy them as a little bit of a humorous element. And so I will say that they're a little bit funny as far as that goes, and some humor is kind of nice to have as an alleviation during this more serious type of a show, more of a scary kind of a show also. Midnight Syndicate is a fantastic show for technology also. They kind of have everything from screens to people that have to be lifted up on this large contraption to different costumes that are a little bit more technologically robust, let's say that. But it's maybe just a little bit less than the coordination that it takes for the opening ceremonies. So I'm going to give it second place for technology. So with the new numbers, we have DJ Eve at the bottom, and Midnight Syndicate rises all the way to the top. Right after that, we have the opening ceremonies, very, very close, only 2 points behind. A lot of people here watching the Shrieks. Honestly, it is a very good move that they put these high caliber shows right here, because so many people get exposed to it, and especially having Midnight Syndicate here, they can sell more CDs, more people will know about them. It's a genius move. It's a really good one. I miss the Jack Aldrich Theater, but it is really cool what they're doing right here. When Eve goes away, the next show is about to start.
Midnight howls through the overgrown trees, carrying a ghostly warning.
First of all, the Shrieks is fantastic. It's similar enough to previous years that it's still comfortable, and yet it is also kind of different enough to make it fresh and make it exciting. So I really enjoyed that about it. I do have to say, as far as talent goes, there just isn't the wide array of crazy talent that this current show actually has. So I do have to give this one to Midnight Syndicate, not to the Shrieks, although the Shrieks people are absolutely and incomparably talented. They're fantastic, but they're not the absolute best one that I think you can go see for a wide array of talent. So it does get second place for that. It is very hard to beat the Shrieks when it comes to just raw and incredible energy, though. That show is very, very fun to watch because it is very energy packed. So it gets first place for energy for out of our 5 shows that we've watched so far. For costumes, the Shrieks get second place because they're not quite so individual or quite so sexy as Midnight Syndicates are. So costumes, I say Midnight Syndicates are better. Midnight Syndicates also kind of prove more of a purpose with what they're doing, but also the Shrieks kind of has done, I don't hate it, they've done a good job with it, but all of the costumes of all of the dancers are the same. I never like that. I always prefer to have them be just a little bit different all the way around. It's probably a little bit of cost savings, and like I said, the costumes they picked were fantastic. They're great. I'm not mad about them in any way, but they're still not the best. I think they're better here inside Midnight Syndicate. The Shrieks is not a funny show, but for humor, it is a bit more of a lighthearted show. A bit more, as far as just characters and stuff like that go. I gave it second place, next to still the Witch Sisters, which I love their humor above everything else. They may win, it's very possible. For technology, the Shrieks gets absolute #1 place. They have done every single part of it incredibly. It's so much fun to watch that, and very, very good as far as just coordinating all of the tech together, from sound to every other piece of it. It's fantastic. Overall now, the Shrieks get first place, just barely edging out Midnight Syndicate for the best show of the evening so far. And then at the very end, we still have DJ. Between that, we have Scary Moanies, Witch Sisters, and Monsters Are Coming. So far it's been really, really good. Let's go. Let's keep watching some shows. Just a little bit of a preview here. All right, so I have decided I'm headed off to the Telltale Heart instead. That's where we're headed out first here to hit one more thing. Hopefully we can hit all of these tonight. I'm trying my best. So I forget how busy it gets back here. But yeah, Saturdays, and this is nothing yet. Saturdays, you can't make it all the way back in 10 minutes. There's no way, because you get stopped by a flood of people. But I have once again seen very few scare actors back here. Seems like this is one where they hired fewer people to do scares back here. Now here's where the Telltale Heart is, which is what I'm heading to right now. The lights just turned on. So now we're on our way back to Fangs After Dusk, and then go back to Wake the Dead after that. So we're going back and forth here at the end. It has taken some doing, but I think we got it. Alright, we're going to wait for the Fangs After Dusk right here, and then we're going to talk about what we just saw with the Telltale Heart. Man, I thought I might be able to find a decent seat, but oh my word. There's already no place to sit, huh? The Telltale Heart takes a massive amount of talent to be able to pull off one way or another. Even if you only are able to just memorize the whole thing, it's still an insane amount of talent, let alone if you're able to pull it off convincingly. And I really liked the job that she did on the Telltale Heart for that. I thought it was a fantastic job. It was really, really good to listen to. But the Telltale Heart doesn't have instrumentalists, it doesn't have acrobatics, it doesn't have anything like that. So because of that, I do give it third place out of all, I think, 7 shows now that I've watched here tonight. It's very respectable. I just don't think that it has quite the same caliber of tons and tons of people having just a variety of different acts that they show off in their shows. As far as energy goes, I gave it second to last place, not because I hate it or anything like that. It's just not really a high energy show. It has to do more with fear and building a huge amount of fear throughout. So it's not something exciting to watch. It's actually something kind of terrifying to watch. But it is very, it's like a psychological thriller in that way. It builds up a lot of psychological horror that then you have to kind of deal with by the end of the play. Telltale Heart got dead last for costumes because there really aren't costumes. There's like they wear a t-shirt and one guy comes in a security outfit. He has a security hat on also. There's nothing really remarkable by any means as far as costuming goes for Telltale Heart. I gave it dead last for humor. Also, there is a tiny amount of humor in it here and there. I will say, though, they were definitely having some technical issues, so because of that, it made it a little bit difficult to pick up on the moments of nuance and a little bit of humor that they would normally want to show. And that comes down to then also technology. Technology was dead last also for this show because really it requires almost nothing, but also there were definitely technical issues that they were having with it and made it just a little bit difficult to be able to watch because the beginning of it was really bad. Now, they did fix it toward the end and it sounded a lot better. I mean, the difference between the beginning and the end was pretty massive, but it was kind of difficult. Overall, Telltale Heart receives a score of 30, which ends up putting it in second to last place, just in front of, just ahead of DJ, which is not necessarily my favorite show. Both of them are pretty low on my scale. I do think if you like more intense shows, though, you're really going to like Telltale Heart. It's Edgar Allan Poe. It's a fantastic play, and they do a very good job with it. It's just not exciting or happy, and I don't really like that. Now I'm here at the Fangs After Dusk. I'm very excited to watch this one. We'll see what this one's actually like, and we'll rank it after this. Although, really, we'll probably have to wait until after Wake the Dead. But I'll just put the ranking in right after anyway. At this point, it is 11 minutes till the show, and it's already a packed house, but it will get far more packed before the actual show starts.
So sink in your teeth and get ready to bare your fangs after dusk.
Have to do some of these in voiceover here because I did get to film both of the ending shows, but my phone did run out of batteries at the very last minute. So in this case, we had third place for the Fangs at this point, right behind the Shrieks and Midnight Syndicate for talent, because there's just, obviously there are lots of people playing instruments. They're incredible. They're very talented people. Loved all of that, but there is maybe a little bit more going on in a couple of the other shows, especially Midnight Syndicate, and then also the Shrieks has a lot going on inside it too. So just a lot of dancing and singing and all kinds of different things like that. So very, very great though, and definitely toward the very top of our rankings. As far as energy goes, I gave the Fangs first place. The Fangs is just an incredibly high energy show. It's a great show to go see, and it's going to leave you with a smile on your face one way or another, especially if you like rock music. You're really, really going to enjoy it. These costumes I gave first place at this point. The Fangs, the costumes are very fun, very playful. The costumes are very sexy, they're very fun. Lots of different styles inside of them, and very rockin' looking. So I definitely think they did a great job with those for this year. I'm going to do a voiceover on the voiceover here because there actually was reblocks happening at this point. Also, since then, they have added another person who was just not able to be there at that point. His costume and is even sexier, and he is one of the most talented people that I've ever seen. I just wanted to interject there, though, because there's definitely a difference with what he does also. I gave Fangs fourth place for humor. The Fangs is not a particularly funny show. There are a few moments where there's a little bit of personality from the cast, but you don't have a ton of it. So it's definitely fun to go see, but it's not one that you're going to go watch and you're going to try to be, laughing a lot during it. That's just not the point of the show. As far as technology goes, I gave the Fangs fifth place out of 8 shows at this point. The Fangs doesn't really have a ton of technology. You just need to be able to make sure that a band is able to play. And of course that takes a lot of adjusting levels and things like that. But there's just not a ton of additional technology going on with different disparate elements all needing to take place at one time. Overall, I gave the Fangs third place at this point for just everything. It does put DJ Eve still at the very bottom, and we have the Shrieks at the top at this point. All right, we got Justin here. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Go check him out. I'll link his stuff down below. But we're going to go see Wake the Dead. And if he doesn't know about it, I don't know if he's going to come or not. But we're just going to hang out. I've also got Taylor with us hanging out. So let's go. All right. This is I've waited until the very, very end for this one. And I cannot wait to get into Lusty Lil's to finally watch it again. This is Wake the Dead in the Palace Theater. Come on in, you can sign the book for the wake. Hello. And find a seat.
Closest family and friends are arriving now. Their fate is in your hands.
Contrary to what popular opinion may be, I did not save Wake the Dead for last because it's my favorite show, but it is my favorite show. And anyway, let's just talk about what I actually ranked it as. I tried really, really hard, guys, to be very objective here, but I really love this show. For talent, I did give Wake the Dead second place, actually, because Midnight Syndicate I found to still be higher. There's just so much more going on with Midnight Syndicate. But Wake the Dead, I mean, the dancing is incredible. It's immaculate. It is beautiful. The dancers are incredible. They're all beautiful. The whole show's crazy. But yeah, it is a very, very fun show as far as all of that, and some of the acting is just incredible also. So definitely you get a lot more elements of some really cool stuff that happens there as far as talent goes. As far as energy goes, I gave still Fangs the first place, but I gave Wake the Dead second place once again for energy. It's an incredibly high energy show. It's very, very fun. It has a few moments when it kind of lulls a little bit, and then it comes back up again, and it's more exciting. And I like that. It has a good ebb and flow with it. It is a great show and very, very fun to watch as far as energy goes. For costumes, I gave Wake the Dead absolutely number one. They definitely did turn up the sex appeal this year as far as that show goes, although it's not too different from last year, but it's always a very fun show, and all of the costumes, I mean, there are several different costume changes that they even have throughout the show. Definitely fun to see those different costume changes, and if you look very, very closely, even Damien Cross has some different costume changes that have meaning to them. So pay attention to some of those, like when does he wear the red coat? The color red, especially in this show, has a lot of meaning to it. So look at it and think about what they maybe were meaning to do during it. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the season. As far as humor goes, I think Wake the Dead is absolutely number one, and it does dethrone finally Witch Sisters. It's amazing to me that it took this long to dethrone the Witch Sisters, because you wouldn't think Witch Sisters would be that funny to me, but they were hilarious this year, and I really, really enjoy them a lot. But Wake the Dead, I think, is even better. It is a fascinating and very hilarious show, and there's actually some moments in it that are kind of lifted from a couple different Broadway shows that I think are kind of fun to watch also. As far as technology goes, Wake the Dead, I think, takes the cake. You've got multimedia, you have a couple different screens that need to be changed. The lighting is incredible, and if you sit right in the center, the lighting just looks perfect. It's great for taking pictures of. It is a very pretty show as far as all of that goes. But then there's also a couple different fog effects. There's a lot of stuff that's going on all at one time in this show. And then of course you have dancing and singing all happening with mic'd performers, and the balances were really good for this show. So definitely I think it's worthwhile to check this one out as far as technology goes also. And I did give it number 1, which means Wake the Dead overall gets 7 points, and that's all. Which is, I mean, we're on golf rules here, guys. So after that, the Shrieks has 15, Midnight Syndicate has 16, Fangs ends up with 17 points, so we're pretty close all in there. And then we kind of make another leap with Scary Moanies at 26 and Witch Sisters at 28. Another leap goes for Monsters Are Coming Charlie Brown at 34. And then we have one final leap for Telltale Heart and DJ Eve. Telltale Heart having 40 and DJ Eve having 41 points. Definitely, I think all of these shows are fantastic, and they're all worthwhile to go check out. I would not tell anybody not to go see them for any reason, but definitely go check out these shows. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and press that subscribe button if you haven't yet. We'd love for you to join this theme park loving family. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's go. Hey, thanks for watching. I release theme park related videos at least a couple times a week, so press that subscribe button if you made it this far. Also, check out similar videos in the playlist to the right, or find my newest video to the left. Thanks again, and let's go!